Time for more Halloween movies. Another 5 in our installment here of Grindhouse Purgatory. Well, I'm keeping the whole Halloween thing up, and we stopped at number 10. So, number 11 is the classic werewolf film, The Howling, by Joe Dante, starring D. Wallace Stone. Actually, this came out about the same time as American Werewolf in London, and Rob Bottin was Rick Baker's student, and there was some, competition there to what was the better werewolf movie. Well, both of them were equally good. Both of them had state-of-the-art effects instead of the CG-generated shit, so kind of a tough call there, but anyway, The Howling is film number 11. Now, film number 12 is a film called Equinox, released by Jack H. Harris. Early work, stop motion effects from David Allen and Jim Danforth. I think this was picked up by Harris, and he added some footage to it, but of course there's a backstory to this one too. This was released in 1970. I can't honestly say when I saw this, but we were over on 42nd Street, and we had a huge argument about what movies we were going to watch because of something I had pulled back in the winter with I Drink Your Blood and I Eat Your Skin. So I had wanted to see Equinox, which had great little standees of these monstrous creatures in the lobby and out in front of the theater. And it was on a double bill with a film called Master of Terror, which was actually Jack H. Harris's retitled version of 4D Man, which he released years ago. Harris had released a bunch of stuff. He released the original Blob, the sequel Beware the Blob, Dinosaurus, 4D Man, and of course Equinox. Thing was, we were arguing about these movies, and we wound up seeing Hell's Angels 69 and Spirits of the Dead. So, could have been around the area. I'm trying to think if I was still in high school or not. It might have been when we were out of high school. It might have been 71. So, that's how that occurred. Never got to see it in the movie theaters because it was pulled, and then eventually had to buy this Criterion Edition DVD. Weird little creepy film, and it's sort of like, I would have to say it probably inspired The Evil Dead because of some of the stuff that went on. But anyway, that's film number 12. Film number 13 is The Fiendish Ghouls with Peter Cushing and Donald Pleasence. Now, there were 2 versions of this released in the world. There was the Continental version, which had a lot of nudity and things like that. And there was the domestic version, which was released as The Fiendish Ghouls and double billed with Horrors of Spider Island by an outfit called Pacemaker. Pacemaker also released another double bill that people are aware of that was famous, The Bloody Pit of Horror and Terror Creatures from the Grave. And they used The Bloody Pit of Horror to tack on to Gok Body Snatcher from Hell, which was also released by Pacemaker. But The Fiendish Ghouls was also called Mania, and it's basically the story of Burke and Hare. And I've never seen a film that captured the abject poverty and ignorance of those times. Donald Pleasence and, I think, what's his name? Rose, whatever the hell his name is. Donald Pleasence is one of the body snatchers. Cushing is the doctor that buys the bodies, and of course, it all knows it turns to murder. And some of the murders get close to home, and that's how they get caught. And Cushing's character really doesn't know what a scumbag he is until he's approached by a little girl begging. And when he says he doesn't have any money on her, he goes, "You can follow me to my house." And she goes, "Oh no, you might sell me to Dr. Knox." So he finally has to confront the evil that he's perpetrated. Really good film, really restored on a Blu-ray DVD, and it was also out on Image too, so that might be still available. Another great double bill, films 14 and 15, are The Crawling Hand and The Slime People. Crawling Hand actually has a pretty good cast with Alan Hale, Kent Taylor, Peter Breck, Allison Hayes, and this import, Siffy Steffen, who's some Swedish thing. And the weird thing was, they booked these 2 films at a kiddie matinee. And I would have to say The Crawling Hand is the better of the two films. It doesn't lag like The Slime People does. But it was a weird thing where Stiffy, I should call her Stiffy because she was giving the audience a Stiffy, I guess. She was disrobing and getting into her bathing suit, and for some reason the projectionist put his fingers around the projector to block this because it was a kiddie matinee. Really didn't show anything, and we were really pissed off that we were getting cut out, so of course we threw a bunch of shit at the screen. Basically, it's an astronaut who's dead and is surviving without oxygen for 20 minutes, and he keeps telling the people in the control thing to push the red button, blow him up, because he knows he's been taken over by some kind of space force. Well, they blow him up, but his disembodied arm winds up on a beach and is taken back and reanimates itself and goes around strangling people. They're blaming the strangulation on this teen, Rod Lauren, and the funny part is that Burt Reynolds auditioned for this role according to the IMDb and was turned down as being too wooden. Go figure. But anyway, the hand goes around, strangles a bunch of people, then winds up in a dump being eaten by cats. Then it's put in a box, and of course they got to look in the box before they take it out and dump it in the sea. When they open the box, it's gone with a question mark, leaving it open for the inevitable sequel, which thankfully never came. The co-feature, The Slime People, stars Robert Hutton, who was in a lot of these 50s direct movies. And it's about these creatures that basically had come up from the depths and have taken over Los Angeles and have encased it in a fog-shrouded dome. These creatures have been called rutabagas, or rutabagas with legs or something like that, but they're more like sort of a weird creature from the Black Lagoon type thing with shit hanging off its jaws, and it looks like huge herpes blisters that make up its head. Strangely, these things supposedly have wiped out half of Los Angeles, but when there's a climactic battle between the male leads and these creatures, which I think there's only 3 of them, but they keep shooting them in different areas, so you think there's a shitload of them. They're using some actual wrestling moves, like a snapmare, flying headlock, flips, takedowns, things like that. I could actually do a play-by-play on it, but what the fuck. Both of these films were produced by Joseph F. Robertson, who started, out in this low-budget horror and then jumped right into porn, directing things like a Dirty Western 2, Golden Goddesses, under the pseudonym of Adele Robbins, and some other ones. Funny how both him and Dennis Steckler, who also did some porn stuff, as I think Steckler's pseudonym was Mary Lou or Mary Jo Sutter. That here's 2 guys that started an exploitation and changed their names to female names to do porn. And Joseph F. Robertson did a shitload of porn. That's all he did after he stopped making these B movies. So those are our films. We're up to number 15 now, and we're still watching one a day. So our next installment will bring you up to date on what I've watched for the next 5 days. So until then, mask up, stay safe. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. And this is 42nd Street Pete saying, that's our show for today, and I'm out of here. See you on the flip side.